One of the things that we want to do is to identify how you're progressing through this process and what the target should be for where you want to get. The primary way of identifying that really shouldn't be the scales per se. There's nothing about the scales that the number 132 or 179 is somehow a good or a bad thing. As you well recognize, for one person, those numbers may be great, but for another person, the same number wouldn't be. The body mass index, or BMI, was created well over 100 years ago as trying to come up with a number that enabled tracking and keeping an eye on really how much of an overload of fat is there. And it has some really good points to it, but it's not, especially at the individual level, a great way to track progress and to identify what your risk is. What we find is that the body fat percentage is the best way to do that. And we use what's called the BCA, or a body composition analysis tool, to identify that. And the way that it works is that by holding this device, a tiny pulse of current is passed through your body, and the measurement by the computer is how that transmission occurred. In general, the more difficult for that transmission to be made, it means there's more fat in the body resisting that transition. And so the computer can kind of go to work and figure out, oh, well, this reading means there's this percentage of body fat that this person has. The nice thing is that by using that and week to week taking a look at the change, we're able to identify, as you're getting closer and closer to a healthy target body fat percentage, and we're able to identify that you're not losing muscle in that process. And so at your first appointment, we'll be measuring how much body fat percentage you have at the present time. And then each week as you move forward, we're going to be looking to say, are we making progress, and how close are we to reaching our goal? In general, for women, a target body fat percentage ideally would be in the 21 to 25% range approximately. Your coach and your doctor can work with you to give you a more specific number. We find that for those who are a little older, you don't want to be too skinny when you're an older person, because that is associated with not as long a lifespan. So having just a little more reserve as an older person might mean 25, 26 plus percent would be appropriate for that person. For men, it should be probably in the 15 to 17, 18% range. And again, for an older person, might add a percent or so to that. But that gives you an idea. Be sure to work with your coach or your doctor in terms of identifying where you should be precisely.